Let's go ahead and go back on the record. I'd like to call to order the other matter agenda for the City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement hearing. Today is December 2nd, 2020. My name is Keith Davis. I'm the special magistrate appointed by the city to preside over this agenda. If you're going to be speaking to me about any of the matters on this agenda, I do need to swear you in. I can place everyone under oath together, so if you weren't previously sworn in earlier this morning, if you'll please stand and raise your right hands and I'll place you under oath. Each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you very much. Please silence any cell phones so they don't interrupt our proceedings, and we can proceed with the agenda.
Okay, first cases, it's going to be numbers 7 through 12, all for 1225 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, CE 200400037, CE 200500070, CE 200700080, CE 200800098, CE 200900166, and CE 201000375.
No, I'm doing mine, he's doing his.
Okay, so Erica, Carlos is doing 7 and 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is going to be Jean. But it's still the same property. I don't know how you want to separate it. You want to do Carlos first, 7 and 8?
Makes no difference to me.
Okay,
However you want to proceed, that's fine.
7 and 8 first.
Okay. Good morning, Carlos Maldonado, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. With regards to this violation, CE 200-437, prior to citing this property, 2 days prior, I had left a courtesy notice, got no response, so then I ended up citing it. The property was cited for, it was cited on April 7th, 2020 for no special pickup on record, no active sanitation account on the property, and owner or occupant responsible for maintaining the adjoining right-of-way and swale free from garbage, litter, and refuse. 2 days later, on the 9th, I re-inspected. It was not complied, so a work order was made, and the trash and debris was picked up by the city, and fees were charged for the pickup.
This is a commercial property?
I'm sorry?
This is a commercial property? Is this commercial or residential?
Yes, it's a commercial vacant property, which has no active sanitation account.
So that was my question.
But
There's
even
no-
so, if it had an active sanitation account for commercial accounts, it wouldn't include pickup of that kind of material.
Okay. What relief are you seeking for this? What remedy are you seeking?
I'm sorry?
What do you
What am I requesting?
what do you want?
The city is requesting the fees for the pickup. In this case, it's $350.
So assessment of a one-time $350,
Yes, it's a one-time fee for the pickup of that trash and debris.
and that's for case ending in 037.
Yes.
Okay. And then you also have the case ending in 070.
Yes, second case.
Well,
for
here's what I'm going to
another
do. I'm going to let him tell me about both of those, and then I'll come back over to you, sir, and then I think I'll hear about the other cases, and we'll deal with it all like that. Is that acceptable?
Well, can I possibly clarify? I don't know if you can hear me.
I cannot.
Can I possibly clarify, Carlos, are these fees that have already been imposed and are these fees that have already been imposed and respondent is now appealing the imposition or assessment of those fees? In other words, has the $350 already been billed to the account?
Yes, has been billed already.
Okay. So the $350 has already been billed to the account, and the respondent is appealing that billing.
Okay, yeah, so if I, maybe give me, and is that going to be the case for all of these?
Is that going to be, for every single case?
So in my case, you want to present all at once?
No.
Johnny Harris, sanitation supervisor. Yes, all these cases are either $300 or either $350. The reason why there's a difference, the reason why one is $350 is because he came back and did a re-inspection. We charge $50 for the re-inspection, but in most of these cases, they pose a safety risk to the public. So it was $300, and we had to pick it up that same day. But all these cases hold their own price of $300 or $350.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. So for all agenda items 7 through 12, $350 was assessed for number 7, and $300 was assessed for 8 through 12. And now the applicant has a right to appeal that assessment, and they're asking for relief from that assessment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is it $350 for 7 and $300 for 8 through 12, or was there a...
The first case is one $300 and is one $350. Yes. First one $300, second one, first one $350, second one $300, third one $350, fourth one $300.
And then 11 and 12 are 300 as well? Yes. All right.
For both my cases, CE ending in 70 and the other case ending in 37, the fees are $350.
Okay, and I have the code sections that require the solid waste subscription and that require the property owner to not do what the picture is showing. So then Arlene, can you explain how this appeal process works? Where is that in the code, and what are the criteria that I need to look at and all of that? Well, Mr. Posner, maybe, is this basically a request for a reduction in that fine amount? The 300 or the 350's already been assessed, and now there's a request for a reduction?
Okay, the sanitation violations by the sanitation department are basically citations. It's automatically billed to the property owner if they've cited that and left the citation there. City code provides that they can appeal in writing the fee, which Mr. Arsali has done on behalf of this property, and the magistrate would then decide whether or not to uphold their appeal and wipe out the fee, or my understanding is it's an all or nothing thing, whether the fee is good or not.
Okay. Why don't I do this then? Maybe let me come over to the applicant, the appellant, and let me hear from you, sir, and what you're requesting in terms of the appeal of the imposition of these $350 and $300 assessments for the solid waste collection. Go ahead and tell me your name and address.
Yes,
And
my
then
name is Nicholas Arsali.
let me get the microphone a little closer to you so I can hear you better.
Oh, okay. Yes, my name is Nicholas Arsali, and I'm the property owner at 1225 Palm Beach Lake Boulevard.
Yes.
The first violation that they have pictures, after we find out about it, I contacted the code officer, Ms. Carlos, and he came over there, met with me. We went and talked about putting some sign there. These are all illegal dumping. We did not, the property owner or us, we'd never put any of this. And they had this issue, which was raised to the police and everything. And I told them, this is my phone number. Next time, if there is anything, let me know on our property. And they say, okay, they will do that. And I did not hear anything about any more. Then we just got requested, what you call it, kind of lien search on the property. And I found out all this stuff, so we questioned. And apparently, all of them, when I went back into the city remarks, it said they didn't know who the owner was and they couldn't contact the owner. And when I'm looking at the list over here for the hearing today, they have a wrong owner there. They have been notifying a company called Zorino LLC for all these violations. So we had no idea what they are, and we never put anything there. And these are all, they call them illegal dumping. And that was the issue before it came to the police. So we never got any notice of any of this whatsoever, except the first one, which I spoke with Maldonado, Mr. Maldonado, who's here, and he has my number and everything, and I told him anything happened after that, please advise me. But going back and looking at all the comments on the city website said that they were not able to contact the owner, they had no idea who the owner was, and the reason for all that is somehow they have a wrong owners on all that. So, in summary, we never had a notice on any of these violations.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to need evidence for each case as to what the citation was for. The other question is, if this is an appeal, is there a jurisdictional time frame that they had to file the appeal, and was that met? Usually an appeal requires a notice to be filed within 30 days. So I'm going to need testimony and evidence for each of these, the date that the citations were issued and the evidence upon which the citations were issued, and then when the appeal was filed.
All right, so I don't know of any other way to do this than to go through each one. The citations for 7431, well, let me bring up John. John? What are citations for 7431D?
That's, city services. That one, if you pull.
Can you describe more of what it is? What,
So that ordinance, 7431.
I'm having a real hard time hearing any of you back there, so I need you to get right on the microphone or something.
So the ordinance 7431D requires that for trash to get picked up on a vacant property with no active sanitation account, it's required that the owner calls for a special pickup, which there's a fee for.
and then for ordinance 74-4A3, what is that ordinance for?
With regards to ordinance 74-4A3, that ordinance requires that occupants or owners are responsible for maintaining any adjoining right-of-way, like the swale, or the parkway, the alleyway, the street right-of-way, half of it, free from garbage, litter, and refuse.
You already testified in the first case that ends in 037 that you gave a courtesy notice to the property owner or the property. It was not complied with by the time of your reinspection, and you closed it with a work order to pick up the trash and debris. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Did you receive a request for a reconsideration or appeal from the property owner?
I did. I think that was several months after he had received the invoice. But I'd also like to say that, like he mentioned, he did call after the second notice, which was the notice of violation, this case. And I called him back and we did speak, and I explained to him what options he had for compliance. So he said he was gonna call back with a special pickup, which never happened. And so that's why this trash was complied with the special pickup, or not with the special pickup, but with the work order that I made.
And the citation that you gave to this property owner, is it a notice of violation? Is it a small citation? What is it, and where did you post it?
So the notice of violation that I posted is the long form, like that one on the picture right now, which the work or the violation notice that I used requires a 24-hour compliance. But prior to that, I had left a courtesy notice of the same pile, and both those notices were posted on the window by the entrance of the building.
So are we taking each case separately, or?
Well, I think I'm gonna have to if they're different. I mean, this looks like, according to the photograph, it's dated July 7th. So if each of these is a separate
I don't know where Monique
separate
went.
case with a separate fine that's being separately appealed, I think
Monique, is this case that's running, are these photos in the, well, I think we're back on number 7. I think we have to go back to number 7, correct? Our first case on this, where do you want to be, magistrate?
yeah, I think we need to start with number 7, and
All right.
like I say, I need to see when it happened, what happened that caused the citation to be issued, and then, so this, is this the photograph for agenda item 7? So this is dated April 7th. Is that, if that's when that happened, then is there a deadline for when this appeal has to be filed, or or not? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, what is the deadline for an appeal to be filed for a citation?
There's no deadline. There's honestly no deadline for appeal to be filed with the sanitation.
On the ordinance, it says you have 30 days to file that appeal.
Do you know which ordinance?
I'm sorry?
Do you know which ordinance is the deadline to file the appeal?
So this is a copy of the invoice.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
So you handed me a copy of an invoice dated May 11th, 2020, invoice number 209150, for a code violation on April 9th, 2020, for $350, for case CE 200-40037, work order 335337. It indicates, it indicates to contest the fees assessed by the City of West Palm Beach in connection with the above referenced solid waste or disposal violation on your property, you must submit a written request within 30 days from the date of this invoice. Did you receive a written request within 30 days from the date of that invoice for an appeal?
For this particular one, for this particular invoice, Mr. Asali had called, and he did mention that he wanted to contest this on this one, this particular invoice.
But he did not submit anything in writing?
No, I did not receive any requests in writing.
Did he call within 30 days?
He called on December 2nd, 2020, and this invoice was cited on April.
And the date of the invoice is May 11th, 2020?
Yes.
Do you believe that the appeal by the respondent then is untimely in this particular case?
No.
Thank you.
So let me jump in here. And ask the appellant, when did you reach out to the city to ask about challenging these assessments?
Well, actually, when we find out about it, which was 2 weeks ago, we called and I asked them, I have no idea what are this about. They say they're going to investigate, and the next thing they say, they're going to put them on the agenda to come before the special magistrate. And then what my point is very simple. All those invoices, I don't know what the address, because the address they have on all this property appraisal is some company in Lake Worth, and I assume, but we just find out about this. One other thing is that what I have here is one of the other cases. They say they don't know who the owner is, and they also put in there, no contact.
Well, the
Even
address
though-
is
Even though
1225
they
Palm
know
Beach.
who I am.
The address is 1225 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard.
I'm sorry?
The address is 1225
That's
Palm Beach
correct.
Lakes
This is a
Boulevard.
business been closed for 9 years. I mean, we are maintaining it and everything, but the trash is not from that property. It is illegal dumping, and they confirmed that is illegal dumping. And the city has done a lot. They put one sign up there, no illegal dumping. But this is not from the city, and we can't, you know, it's really, if they called me, and they have done that on other properties we own, Mr. Medina called me and say, there is a problem if somebody dumped in here. We said, we take care of it. We went in there, either we took care of it, it was a small amount, or we have it, you know, special pickup on many occasions. But this one, we had no idea. And I have proofs here saying that they said on the record, Palm Beach, on the city's record, saying that they don't know who to contact. They had no contact information. So we had no idea, no notice whatsoever about this stuff being there.
Would the billing have gone out in May?
Okay, I'm going to ask some very basic questions. Are you the owner of the property at 1225 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard?
Am I the owner? I am the owner of the
Okay.
property, yes.
Let me ask the city.
Have we received a
did-
notice? We have never received any notice.
Okay, so these pictures keep scrolling through. I'm seeing pictures of citations on piles of garbage and on windows. Is that 1225 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard?
Carlos, the pictures that we're seeing now, is that 1225 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard?
Do I have pictures of that?
The pictures that we're seeing, is that 1225 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard?
Oh, yes, it is.
My understanding, Magistrate, from talking to John just now, is that the billing would go out based on the PCN number, and at the time that this particular case was billed, back in May 2019, was still owned by, I'm sorry, it went,
1225 Land Trust, Palm Beach Lake Land Trust?
yeah. Was still owned by 1225 Palm Beach Lakes Land Trust.
And that gets me back to my original question. Do I even have jurisdiction over any of these appeals if the city's appeal process requires a request for an appeal within 30 days? Did that happen in any of these cases? And if it didn't, do I have jurisdiction to even consider granting an appeal?
Magistrate, apologies, I don't usually deal with sanitation issues. Okay, I'll give opposing counsel something as well, but I've got a copy of the blank violation notice and a copy of the code on the issue. And bottom line to your question is, regardless of the reason, there's 30 days for appeal. These are not sent out by mail. They're not regular notices of violation. City code says you have 24 hours to correct, and if it's serious, you don't have 24 hours to correct. You will simply be billed for it.
Right.
Only one of these cases is within the 30-day period. That's number 12.
Okay, so one of them is within the 30 days.
That's the only one within the 30-day period. That's it. Now, these are the only notices. It's placed on the property itself.
And I see the photographs show that those pink citations are on the window, they're on the pile of garbage itself. I see all that very clearly.
Now, my understanding, based on city code, is your only jurisdiction is number 12. Everything else is outside the 30 days.
And you know, jurisdictional windows are there's no opportunity to extend those or forgive that if it's outside, if it was sent outside the 30 days. I don't.
Not via magistrate. There's nothing written to that effect. He is certainly more than welcome to contact the sanitation department to discuss any billing issues, and that's between those parties.
Can we get just on the record for each of the cases when the citation was issued and when the request for the appeal was made so that I can formally make a ruling on each of these? And then if there are any that are within the 30 days, well, I will be happy to hear that one.
Did you get that question?
When the appeal was made?
He wants to know the date each one was cited and the date the appeal was received.
So
On each,
item number 7 and number 8 are mine. That's the only two cases that I I have personal interaction with.
Well, tell me about those then.
With regards to item number 7, CE 200400037,
It's on the screen, Special Magistrate.
that
It's on the
property was cited on April 8th, or actually April 7th, 2020. And according to my notes here in my case, it was on December 2nd, 2020, that I made a note that Mr. Asali was disputing the charges on the case.
Okay, tell me about the case ending in 070. Same information for the next case.
For the next case, item number 8, CE 200500070, I cited that property on May 14, 2020, for the same violations, maintaining the right-of-way free from refuse and no special pickup, no active account. On the 15th, it failed a reinspection, and I received that email from Mr. Asali on December 2nd, 2020, that he was disputing the charges.
Okay. So I want the same information for numbers 9, 10, 11, and 12. Who is the witness who can provide that information?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that email. What was the date of that email, if I ask?
You said it was December 2nd.
December 2nd?
That's what the testimony was. And I'm going to come back to you as soon as I hear
Wanna make sure that-
this and let you have an opportunity to go through,
I just didn't hear.
all this. So all I'm looking for right now is testimony on the date that the citations were issued and the date the request for the appeal was received by the city.
They're on your screen, Special Magistrate.
So I think we're on agenda item 9, which is the case ending in 080.
080. Yes, 080 was cited on August 7th, 2020. We did not get an appeal for that one. The one for 098, that one was cited 8/06/2020. We did not get an appeal for that one. The next case was 166. That one was cited 9/16/2020. We did not get an appeal for that one. And the final one was 11/19/2020. And that was the one I guess we're here for now, today.
So from the city's point of view, you got one request on December 2nd requesting an appeal.
Yes, sir, and he wanted to appeal it for all of them, but I guess he only fall in for the 30 days, which is for the last one, which is the 375 case.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions for those witnesses?
Yeah, I'm just confused. December 2nd is today. Did I request this today? That's what I am confused.
I'm just going off what's in the system.
Well, let me ask you, what day did you make the request to the city to challenge all of these?
When we find out, after we got a lien search and we found all
What
this
date
stuff.
was that? I understand you did a lien search. I need to know the date that you asked the city to challenge
I sent an email
these.
to Leon, who was the head of there, was, I would say about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and I said whether these.
So like the middle of November, right after the
That's
last one happened.
That's the first time we heard about it. That's the first time we got a notice on this.
Okay.
And
Well, I
one
mean,
other
based
thing
on
I'd
that,
like
as a
to-
threshold matter, my understanding of the city code is that the way that notice is provided in these, the citation is posted
On the property.
like you showed, on the property, on the actual pile of garbage itself. And did that happen in each of these cases?
Yes, sir, and all is displayed on all of them, on all the cases. They're all displayed.
I would like to add something.
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Magistrate, this is information. All the stuff that they were illegally dumped they are in the back of the property, it's not the front of the property. So even though we could go in there, in the property, there's no access at that point. This is all fenced and hedges. So you can't really see anything is out there to see any of the note. And we have not, as I said, we have not received any notice whatsoever, except the first one. And I did reach out immediately we got the notice. I reached out to Mr. Carlos and I said, here's my phone number. If you see any of this stuff, please let me know. We will go ahead and take care of them and everything. And my comment and his comment obviously was the day after it was already picked up. And then we met over there, we looked for a solution because obviously there was one sign by the city for no dumping. They said they're gonna put more signs out there for no dumping. And after that, I had no idea that it was repeatedly was happening again. And I find out about all this stuff when I
So is this a
contacted
vacant
police.
piece of property that you own? Is that what this is?
I'm
Or
sorry?
What is on this property? Is it a
Nothing.
vacant?
It's a vacant commercial, it's been vacant there for almost 9
Okay.
years. And then the only thing, the people, they go in there, the landscaper, they clean up and everything, and they take out with them because there's nothing put out there.
So you're basically saying that it's a vacant piece of property, other people are illegally dumping stuff on your
Absolutely, and
property?
they confirmed that. I mean, the sanitation has confirmed, that's nothing has to do with us.
Okay,
And the city police also has confirmed, but they cannot catch them who they are.
yeah, and I appreciate that, but that's, when you are the property owner, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. You can't just, you have to be vigilant. But all that being said, for agenda items 7 through 11, based on the testimony as to when the citations were issued and when the request to appeal them occurred, it was outside of the 30 days. I am making a finding that I don't have jurisdiction to even consider those. So 7 through 11 are denied, but I will hear agenda item 12, which is the case ending in 375, because that request occurred within the 30 days of the issuance of the citation, based on the testimony that I've got today. So what I want to do is see the evidence for the case ending in 375. And then I'll, again, come back to you, sir, and you'll have an opportunity to ask additional questions or tell me what you want to tell me about that particular case.
Yes, sir.
So let's look at agenda item 12, which is the case ending in 375.
Yes, sir. Rutherford Jean, I wrote up property 1225 Palm Beach Lakes on date 11/18/2020. Violation 74-4A. Illegal dumping 74-4A3, right to maintain adjoining right-of-ways.
Is that the citation that was posted?
Yes. And as long as it's on the property, it's effective. Because this property was written up for immediate abatement. Actually,
Okay, so this was a $300 assessment that's been made.
yes, sir. No reinspection fee.
Okay. So that's the one we're talking about now, sir. If you have questions to ask, or then you want to tell me anything additional.
Okay, what I would like to know is that, Carlos, you all have my phone number. If you see there and we don't come to the property, this is the back of the property, as you do with all the other property we own in the city. Don't you just call me and say, Nick, somebody dumped stuff on your property, take care of it? And I called for a special pickup, which normally costs about $100, even if you get it through the city. So why would if I don't get a call, if I don't have any idea, I understand we own the property. I understand perfectly. But the question is, a courtesy call, because unless, if we are not on the street, which is a back road, it's not, even if you go to the property, we don't see that. And these stuffs are obviously, they're right on the street, they're not on the property. But I understand the owner is responsible for this. I think that a courtesy call would get us at least notice that this stuff's are there, and we put a camera in there. We did it 7 years ago, we put a camera in there and nobody put in there. but I was not aware of any of this happening, and that's the truth. I'm under oath. If I knew about any of this happening, I wouldn't be here. I would be getting all of them resolved with $100 special pickup.
I'm not sure if there was a question for the witness or if you're,
No, what was it? It was basically.
I think the question was, do you make courtesy telephone calls to advise property owners of these, when you find these violations?
No, sir, it's not. Our only job is to deal with the property right there and right then. You're in charge of the property, you're the owner of the property, so therefore you have to do your due diligence and walk around your property to see what's there and what's not. The only thing we could possibly do is just give out the courtesy, which Carlos has done previously before. After following that courtesy violation, that's when those citation comes into occur, because you was already given a courtesy notice, letting you know that these illegal dumping is happening right behind your business.
Okay, and I can respond to that. While I was getting the courtesy notice, did we ever had the issue? We always picked it up, or we made arrangement for it to be picked up.
Which we
So-
understand, and furthermore, we always go through the trash as well to see, that's a very key point in this case, we always go through the trash as well to see if we can locate an address on the pile as well. We're not out just to violate you, you know what I mean? Because we do see it's illegal dumping, but the rules and regulations are that you have to maintain your right of adjoining ways, you know what I mean? So there was another citation that was thrown out that your property was cited for, but me and my supervisor, we actually caught the individual that was illegal dumping on your property. That was sent up to PD. We don't know what happened after that. We sent it up to PD. So honestly, you were gonna have more violations, you know what I mean? So as we were saying before, every single time we do go to your property and do see illegal dumping, we do try to go through it to see if we can locate an address of where it's coming from. If you do have cameras on your property and you want to show visuals of who's dumping the items on your property, you could show that with us, and therefore we could handle the different matter. You know what I mean? If you're getting a tag number for us to show that this is not you dumping it. So without anything at all showing us that, any proof at all showing that it's not you, unfortunately, it has to go to the owner of the property.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
We talk about the invoices were sent out, and we talk about the notices sent out. Can you tell me what address they were sent out to?
I'm not sure. I don't work for the billing department. The only thing we do is cite the actual property, and the per-sale control number that's on the property goes to our billing department, and they bill accordingly.
And I did inquire about those.
Okay,
I'd like to add that
Well, just
I've
to-
met Mr. Arsali years ago. Mr. Arsali is not new to the city. He's owned property here in the city of West Palm Beach for 10 years now. And in speaking with him at another property that resembles this one, the properties are always unmaintained. It's always, and the reason people dump at his properties is because they're unkept, and it becomes an attractive nuisance for the dumping. This particular property is in the gateway to the city, Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, and like I've told him, if it requires that you hire security to monitor your property regularly, especially a property like this, that it happens often, then that's what you need to do. I've had no dumping signs installed, but this is a huge property, and so all they do is they move further down the property to dump. But this is a business that he has, it's not a homesteaded property. And when we received the request disputing these invoices, it's probably because he's doing a refinance or selling the property. So, you know, the responsibility falls on the property owner to keep an eye on the property and to make sure that it's not being dumped on.
And when this isn't picked up in 24 hours, then you guys come and take care of it and cite the property and assess the fine.
Yes, sir, correct. Only, but if it's an abatement, like we have this picture above, an abatement basically showing that the condition causes harm to the public welfare, this has glass that's visible. Anybody could cut themselves on there. So our department have to do our due diligence and pick it up ASAP.
Oh, I
So,
see.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. I'm going to give you the final opportunity here.
Well, my final saying is just, we never get the notice. If we didn't get the notice, if we didn't get the invoice to be sent to us and everything, and then one of the cases that I am aware of, and I spoke with him, and I told him, please call me if there's any issues, because we don't. Again, illegal dumping, the last one they caught, I wish they would ask him, have you been doing this before? This is not our trash. It has been sitting on the street. But I understand, based on the city, it is the liability or responsibility. I understand that. But the only thing I can say, if we knew about it, it would cost us a lot less. It would not cost us $350. It would cost us $100 even to request the city to pick it up.
Well, okay, thank you very much. You know, the city is not the babysitter of properties. If you own the property, it's your responsibility to know what's going on your property. So the city is not in the business of having to babysit and call everybody and say, hey, you need to come take care of your property. That's not how it works. These are reprehensible pictures. They are, whether there's broken glass or not, in my view, a absolute threat to public health, safety, and welfare. The city's codes don't require the city to call you and tell you, you are the property owner, you're responsible. If it's a vacant lot and you're an absentee landlord or an absentee property owner, that's for you to figure out how to keep your property maintained under the minimum property standards and not allow this to happen. It's not the city's job to babysit. The appeal is denied.
Well, may I add here?
No, we're finished. The
Finished, but
appeal
we're
is
paying
denied.
$20,000 property taxes on this property, and about $10,000 go to the city of West Palm Beach. And I
Thank you,
think
sir.
there's a little bit of a courtesy. If there is somebody else dump stuff on their street, they shouldn't try to extort more money from
Thank you.
the owner. That's all I can say for the record.
So 7 through 11 are denied because I don't have jurisdiction. 12 is denied because I don't see any grounds to grant the appeal.
Next case, number 5, 939 29th Street, CE 17110267, 939 29th Street, number 5.
Thank you, gentlemen.
So what is, let him know.
Good afternoon. I'm ready when you are, Mr. Posner. I know you're getting a microphone
Could take all day.
reconfigured.
Confirming 939 29th Street?
Yes.
Okay. Mitch Posner, Code Enforcement. Case ending in 267 for 939 29th Street. Date ordered 1/3 of 18. Fine started 2/3 of 18. Ran for 314 days. Total $31,400. $100 a day. Date of compliance 12/14 of 18. This is a new owner. It was for no rental license. City is asking for standard 25%.
I didn't hear the last thing you said. I'm sorry.
City's asking for standard 25%.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about
Michael
your
Wolf,
request.
939 29th Street, West Palm Beach.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Not much to say. I bought the property in the bad condition. I've re-cleaned it up. I've got my neighbors saying it's the best it's ever looked. The numbers that were there were not any of my numbers. I'm not that kind of a person, and since then, I've kept it straight and clean and plan on keeping it that way. I was asking for a reduction because it was a lot of money that I didn't accumulate and didn't have to pay. So that's,
What did you invest in the property to rehabilitate it? About? And it looks great. I don't know.
I mean, as purchasing or as in remodeling or
Yes.
fixing or?
Yeah, to fix it up. And Or if maybe you didn't have to.
I do most of my own work. I'm a general contractor.
Okay.
Or I was, I'm not anymore. I used to be a long time ago when I lived here. I used to own multiple properties in the past. Had a bad partner and left the state, been gone about 15 years.
You acquired a rental license and a certificate of use when you
For what?
acquired. Pardon me?
For what?
Or are you not renting the property?
I live in it.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
my
so this is
permanent
your-
home. I've came down and I went ahead and, what's my thinking of, homesteaded and stuff.
So all the rental activity was the prior
It
owner?
was all on the prior owner.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand now.
Okay. I did request some numbers. I don't know if we can work with that or you all can. I hope so. I would appreciate it.
Okay, anything else from the city on this?
No, sir, no relevant property owner issues with this
Given the
particular-
circumstances, in this case, there were no rental violations by you. You
No, sir.
acquired the property and you now reside in it yourself at your
Yes, I do.
homestead. The current lien is $31,400. I'm going to agree to reduce that to $1,500. How long will it take you to pay that?
I could probably have it done by the end of this week.
I'll give you 30 days.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Wolf? Directions to pay are on the bottom.
Just go down and take care of that between now and 30 days.
Yep. Then we automatically release it. Okay? Thank you. Number 3, 714 49th Street, CE 200100058.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
Case ending in 058 714 49th Street, date order 25 of 20, fine started 37 of 20. Rent for 95 days, total $9,500, $100 a day, date of compliance 6/10 of 20. This is the previous owner, but the same owner that incurred the lien. The mitigation is all COVID-related. Application stated the applicant's father passed away in February. Certainly sorry to hear about that, sir. And then consequently, the family contracted COVID. Also a question as to whether or not it was received, but it was sent to the correct PAPA address at the time. I got to point out that the case was originally cited January 6th of 20. It went to a hearing February 5th of 20. The fine started March 7th of 20, and Florida's state of emergency didn't start until March 9th of 20. There was ample time to get it done before the state of emergency. The city's asking for 50%.
Just so that I'm clear, the applicant is the owner that owned it when the violations occurred?
Correct.
But is not the owner anymore?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So I came here to tell my story here.
Let me get your name and address.
Yeah, my name is Mohammed Hanan, and the property is 714 49th Street. So I can argue whole day about the wrong address, but I don't want to go there because I came from the IT background. I know even as of yesterday, it was showing the wrong address. This address was not on the Sunbase website for the LLC. This address was not in the closing, any of the closing of the property. And that was still even today. I want to show you my, in April 27th, I sent an email with a screenshot that I filled out the form with the updated address. I have an email, sir. If you allow, I can show that. Even after that, the property address was not even updated. So if you still send me, let's say $1 million fine, or let's say hang me out there, I'll get hanged because I'll never receive the mail. But I'm not going to argue on that point. They did a good job. The officer who did one, he found out the issues, and I really feel that I should have done that. But what happened that all the mails on January, February, even today, even as of today, now, this second, I will never receive any mail from your system. And I can tell you that it is probably in the IT system. But I'm not going to argue on that. But what I like to tell you this, that After I lost my father, every year I go visit my Asian, I go to Bangladesh. You know, it's one of the poorest countries in the world. I give hug to my dad every year. So I lost him this year. And I'm not sure, I mean, was it COVID? I don't know. I mean, he was having the respiratory problem. There's no known scientific fact that it was COVID at the time. It was February, right? So right after I came here, I mean, it's a tough time for me. At the same time, after a few weeks, I got infected with COVID. And I have a report for the COVID infection. And then then my agent called me, hey, I have a body inspector. He told me that there's some violation. And I could not go to the on-site because it's my incapacity. Again, there's no problem from the inspector side. I don't blame them. They did a good job. The thing is my incapacity. I could not physically attend all these things. My wife was terribly sick from the COVID. And like with a change of job, change of income, it took almost 3 months for her to recover. Still right now she's living with the liver malfunction. And I have a severely autistic kid at home. I brought the IP. He was Becker acted 3 times before the age of 14. So he's a highly psychotic patient. So leaving these things, when I called to the officer, he said, you know what, I don't care. It is the clock starting every day. I find myself, I didn't come here for money today. I came here today to tell you the stories that during the pandemic, we did not fine tune the system to encounter the fact that some family is going through a hardship, they need extra time. And we need to stop the clock, give it a chance. So I feel those things are not adjusted. It's not like your fault, like we are not encountered these things before. I don't want to blame the officer. He did everything is fine. I will blame that if maybe the loss could be less, if the email system should work. But even if you still march when I'm suffering with my wife and my autoimmune compromised son with the COVID and everything, almost I'm that bad. I mean, how does it sound to you that, oh, you're accruing the loan and everything? So that's why I feel it's not right. I think that you need to listen to the family here. That's why I came to you, sir. Because I don't go to the court all the time. And if you look at me, I don't even look like a landlord. I'm highly academic. I have a published journal in computer science. I read philosophy, science, physics. I'm that kind of guy. So what I did, I realized that with the COVID and everything, I'll not be able to continue the ownership. So I made the compliance, satisfy everything, and sold the property. I sold the property because I think that with the health issues, my son and everything, I got scared, and a lot of things are coming out of time. I gave up, but I came here to tell you our story to us, and I think I need a fair judgment from this court. I don't know how many thousand of dollars, probably $10,000 or $13,000 fine, and imposing to the families who's going to the COVID. I think it's something we did not write for these families. That's why I came here. So I rest my argument to you. It's my incapacity. It's not your problem here, officer or inspector. It's my incapacity, and you need to hear our stories.
When you owned the property back at the beginning of the year, was this a rental property? Or
It was a rental property, yeah. It was a triplex.
let me ask the city, so the notice was sent to the address on the property appraiser's records.
Magistrate, the clerk's brought up the notice of violation on the screen. If you look at your screen, you'll see the address.
Yes.
And she can scroll down and show you the matching papa sheet with the same address.
Okay, and then was the property, do your files show if it was posted or not?
It was posted to property and City Hall.
Okay.
Sent certified and regular mail. The certified mail was returned unsigned, but the address matched with papa.
So what you're saying is that the address that the property appraiser has was not the correct
Sir, I
address?
did not physically visit the property at the time. So it's
Okay.
totally meaningless. I mean, you're sending mail to that address, nobody's gonna check that. I did not physically visit the property, and I was even getting any rent, because tenants are also losing job. So, and that property was in forbearance plan. I mean, I did not bring my Fifth Third Bank statement, but it was in a forbearance plan, because I was not collecting any rent or anything. So, yes, I mean, I don't blame the officer. I mean, officer did their job. The only thing, maybe I could reduce the fine if I could earlier. That's the only thing in my defense. But I came here to consider the fine reduction here. I mean, I'm accepting this. I mean,
I'm going to reduce the fine, but what I want you to understand is the city did what it was required to do under the law in terms of sending notice, that it's required to send notice to the address that the property appraiser or tax collector have. at the end of the day, it's the property owner's responsibility to make sure that that address is correct. If it's not, you need to reach out to the property appraiser or the tax collector and get that fixed. That's not the city of West Palm Beach's job. Now, that being said, I understand what you're saying. That, you know,
I totally agree with you that it is not the city's job. I agree, it's my incapacity, but I want you to consider the case. I mean, sometimes we argue about the logical things, but there's a lot of things beyond the logic and paper that happens, and that's why I came here, sir.
all right, and these were property standard violations. I saw some of the photographs, so,
It was bare landscape and outdoor storage.
pardon me?
Bare landscape and outdoor storage, yeah,
I
violations.
saw the photographs, and it was out of compliance for 95 days, you said?
Yes, sir, ran for 95 days.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else you would like to tell me? Okay.
I need lien reduction because it will help us some of the financial things that we're going through, this family and everything. That's the only thing I would say. And as I'm saying, that it is mostly my incapacity to go there. I could probably reduce the loss, but I would have done everything. I mean, I have all the good intention. I don't want to play with the wrong at this game. Yes, the tenants, the violated. Let me tell you something. This is the cultural fight, actually. Like, it is not the problem in the city or the owner, because the owner fixed something, but they are littering every hour. I've seen that. It's a cultural fight, sir. I mean, even if you fix something, I heard even the later landlord, he was having problem with the same kind of tenant. Because they're littering every hour. I mean, they're going by hour, and you go by the week, and then by month deadline, you fix it, next day you see the violation. So I don't blame the city. And I think you understood the challenge here.
All right, thank you. So, in this case, we have the lien is $9,500. This violation existed for 95 days, and it was minimum property standard related. They were violations that were not just paperwork. City's request is that the lien not be reduced by any more than 50%, which would be about $4,750. Given the circumstances and based on the testimony I've heard, I'm going to reduce this lien to $3,000, and I'll give you as much time as you reasonably need to pay that. You do that in 90 days.
So how much reduction I'm getting, sir?
I'm going to reduce it to $3,000, and I'm asking you if you can pay that in 90 days.
Yeah, I think, yeah, from what I heard from the closing, they already paid it. I'm not sure, I'll double check, sir. They already paid it. From my
Sorry, I'm
closing.
not, can you pay that in 90 days? I can give you a little more time.
Yeah, if you give me 90 days, I'll double check with my agent and everything. But in my understanding that when the property was sold, that money was held to escrow and something.
Okay,
So maybe from there they'll release it if you guys have not yet received it.
all right, 90 days, $3,000. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It's case number 4-1314, Ninth Court, CE 19070397.
Okay.
Case ending in 397, 1314 Ninth Court, date ordered 9/18 of 19, fine started at 10/21 of 19, ran for 25 days, total 2,500, daily fine was $100 a day, date of compliance 11/15 of 19. This is the same owner. The only mitigating circumstance listed on the application is blames the citing code officer for not being responsive, but the case cites more than one conversation with the owner, and the non-compliance pictures are in the case, so the fine was certainly valid, and it had not been complied with on time. City's asking for 30%, which comes to $750.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and tell me your name and address, please.
Sure. My name is Yolanda Glass. The address is 1314 9th Court, West Palm Beach. Yeah, I was communicating back and forth with
Can we ask her to speak up,
Cassandra.
please? We can't hear her.
Yeah, can you get the microphone a little closer?
Can you hear me now?
That's much better.
Oh my God, I gotta hear my voice. All right, no problem. So, yeah, I was communicating back and forth with Cassandra at the time, of, dealing with the violations, and we did, cleaned up what needed to be done, put the pool down, and he did the facial and everything. But my thing was that I haven't received any notice from the code enforcement whether they came to inspect the house or anything. That was my issue, because I've been talking to Cassandra to see if was there anything else need to be done to clear of this violation, and when I sent her the pictures, that was it. So, and then all of a sudden I get an email from Monica, or Monique at the time, right now, about these liens. That's what was confusing me, because I was communicating with her, but then I haven't heard from her whether or not that I pass or fail it. So that was my issue with that.
Okay.
That was it.
All right. Anything else from the city on this one?
No, there's no additional facts to present.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. So this case, we have a lien of $2,500 based on the testimony I've heard and the circumstances surrounding the case. I will agree to reduce that to $500. Can you pay that in 60 days?
I have to do some kind of payment plan with that.
You need a little more
I'm the only
time than
one
that?
working. Yes, sir?
Do you need more time than that?
Yes, sir.
Can you do it in 120 days?
Yes, sir.
All right. $500, 120 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Number two, 926 36th Street, CE 15110473, 926 36th Street.
Good afternoon. Whenever you're ready.
Case ending in 473, 926 36th Street, date ordered 1/6 of 16, fine started 2/8 of 16, ran for 1,648 days, total 164,800. Daily fine was $100 a day, date of compliance 8/13 of 20. Normally, the city would ask 30%, based on the size of the lien. The city's ask is 15%. It's the same owner. Further information, you continued this a month ago, sir, advising the applicant to find whatever proof he could that it wasn't rented at the time and bring that back to you.
Oh, I sort of remember that.
So we're back here again. I don't know what he's brought, but here he is.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and tell me your name and address again.
Patrick Williams, 926 36th Street, West Palm Beach.
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams. What were you able to?
Well, I have with me my wife, who has been living there along with me since, I think, 2003. We bought the house in 98, I think. My son has been living there since. He's here to testify as to living there.
Okay.
And if there was any notice that we received, it was one of us would be the person who got the notice. But we did went through that before, and you said to bring you some proof that I didn't rent the house. That's a difficult task, because if I look at the rental affidavit, and it says if you rent a room in your house, you should obtain a rental license.
Right.
I have never rent any part of my house.
Okay.
So therefore, I don't know, all I can bring to you, I have a driver's license I get there, I vote at the church down the street in the neighborhood.
Did you say you had somebody here to testify about that?
As to the time they lived there. My wife and my son. And I have some, I don't know if these will help you, but I have letters from different places, important letters that one would want to go to their address.
Okay, yeah, why don't you show whatever you have to Mr. Posner, and then I'll take a look.
The letters.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. I don't know. You can probably pick anything you want out of this. I don't, I don't know what to bring, so I just bring a bunch of stuff. To show that I live there, and some from from the city, from different places, title for my vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, I need you to
Your Honor.
tell me what you want me to look at.
I did ask, and then, you did inform me that you were.
So you're telling me, your testimony is that this is all mail that went to your son who lived at this
No,
address?
to me, there. Showing the address and, basically the time that based on the dates.
That you were the resident of this house?
You're right, but he was living there like approximately 4 years before me. I even when I talked to him after we left, when you granted that continuance, and he was even reminding me that there was somebody living in the house for how long, I don't know. I went there one day and this guy was inside there. And when we called the city of West Palm Beach, the officer said, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "Well, we have my tools packed up in a bunch there, but I don't think anything is missing, so just forget it." And because we were living in Riviera Beach when we bought the house, and my son was still going to school, I think it was the last year of high school, and it's 2 buildings is on the premises. So he was living in the back, the smaller, I understood that was called the garage apartment back in the days. And he was living there. The front house never occupied for over 5 years. And my wife works south of West Palm Beach. She has never had a job north of West Palm Beach. So Mitch was making the emphasis on we live in Port St. Lucie. Yes, we bought a house in Port St. Lucie, but that's a long drive from Boynton. Sometimes my wife worked in Naples, worked in Boynton, Boca, so she stayed there most of the time. And I stayed there a good percentage of the time. I also have a place in Okeechobee that I stay maybe 25% of the time during the year. I stayed in Port St. Lucie, but my official address on where I live is West Palm Beach. No mail except for the properties in Okeechobee and Port St. Lucie goes to any of the, every important, what you would consider a important mail, goes to West Palm Beach. Doctor bills, my vote as registration, I vote by mail, my driver's license, my renewal for my tags, everything goes to West Palm Beach. My insurance.
To this
everything.
address, for this house?
That address, that's where I live.
Thank you. Let me ask the city, do the city's records show when this was a 2015 case, did the respondent appear at the violation hearing? Do we know?
I'm sorry, what was the?
Did the respondent appear at the violation
No,
hearing?
our records show that the notice of violation was signed for and posted to property, but that nobody showed up at the hearing. And it shows that they complied all violations except the rental license.
Okay.
It was certainly heard, it was certainly adjudicated, deemed proper. There's no reason to believe with the 2 units 5 years later that it wasn't a rental. And of course, whatever weight you give to the testimony of a family member that says I lived there, up to you. I don't know. The officer doesn't work here anymore. I cannot try and question him either.
I'm going to say that was going to be my question. Does the file reflect what the evidence of the rental that it was being rented was.
I don't have that in here.
Okay. And I'm not intending to retry the case.
I understand.
That's not the purpose of this hearing.
No, I understand. I did look, and I didn't see anything back then. The standard wasn't the same, is the best I can put it.
And that was going to be another question I had, but I think you just answered it. The clean and sanitary and the paint, those were complied right away?
Right, the note in the case is everything was complied except the rental license, and the fine only ran on the rental license.
Okay. Okay. And your testimony is that it was never rented from 2015 until today?
Mitch, when was the citation for the painting and that sort of stuff issued? Because I'm a little confused.
I'm sorry,
on
when
that,
was this citation issued? Is that the question?
I think the
Yes,
question was when,
for the painting, but I'm a little confused on that.
November of 2015, it was mailed out November 25th, 2015.
almost
November
exactly 5
2015.
years ago.
Case was created the November 20th.
Because, the house was stuccoed, my son paid to get it done and painted in 2015 before any sort of, a matter of fact, I didn't know of any notice for painting. When my son called, when I saw the notice of lien, it doesn't say what was the lien for. It just said that you didn't comply within the time given. When the house was stucco and painted, there was nothing about, because I don't know if you recall, but last time I was here, I was arguing about dirty driveway. Because that I know I got a notice that the driveway need cleaning and the horning at the front, because the neighbor's sprinkler was spraying, he have a well, and it was spraying water onto the thing. He now fixed it. Actually, that sprinkler head was on my property. And when people try to come in my driveway, they drive over it. He don't move that back. Since 2015, we have no problem. So I didn't know anything about a dirty house because I would argue that the house wasn't dirty. It was just white. Now it's green. That's the only difference. But the driveway had that rust. And that's why I couldn't understand that it was the same violation for rental. But Your Honor, if I say, for instance, it was stucco, it was dirty house, dirty driveway, and I go through the trouble to spend thousands of dollars to fix that, why wouldn't I respond to a rental notice and all I had to do is sign a paper and send it to the city or drop it off at the city at no cost? I have to pay $200 to speak to you today.
Does the city's records indicate if there have been other code enforcement cases on this property between this one and today?
Can you bring up the main screen? Sorry, I don't have that in front of me, but she can bring it up.
I'm in permanent
Address?
now. Hold on.
92636th.
Thank you. Which one you want me to look up?
Under their ownership, it looks like a total of 2 cases, and this was the very last time they were cited. Not an extensive history, or we probably would have asked for more than the 15%.
Okay. All right. Anything else from the city on this one?
No, sir.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me, sir, or anyone else that you have to testify today?
And any violation we have before that was thrown out, or I don't know if that's the term to use, by the code enforcement hearing when we went there. So we had never had a citation or anything that wasn't taken care of within the time that was maybe 30 days, 10 days, whatever it was, because we weren't living there during those times. And so, I don't know if you have a house and don't rent it. If someone can tell me, you have to get, because I don't know the laws of West Palm Beach, apparently. If you have a house and you don't rent it, do you need to get a rental license? Could someone tell me if I need to get a rental license for that? Because, that's the only way I could see where I was in violation of anything.
Okay.
So if you want to hear from my wife and my mom, because there's also a systemic thing that she can testify, because if I tell you what, you might say it's hearsay, as to the city will even toward the same problem here. Because when she went there to find out why we weren't hearing anything.
Is she here today?
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to hear from her.
Okay, well, and my son is here also to testify.
I'm happy to hear from him as well.
That's right. May I take these?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you tell me your name and address, please?
My name is Kareem Williams, 926 36.
I need you to get the microphone a little closer because I'm having a tough time hearing you.
Kareem Williams, 926 36th Street, West Palm Beach.
Okay, can you tell me about the issue that we're talking about is whether this property has ever been rented to tenants that paid rent over the past 5 years?
Never. I got this house in 1998. My son have been living there since. And in either 2003 or early 2004, we moved from Riviera Beach there.
Okay.
And I work in Delray Beach, Boynton Beach, Boca, never had aware of. So I live there. On a weekend when I'm off, I will go to Port St. Lucie. That's it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Poser, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Sir, did you want to testify as well?
Yes, my name is Kareem Williams.
Yes, sir.
I do live at 926 36th Street, and in 1998, I lived at 926 and a half 36th Street, which is the back house.
Okay.
And they moved there in 2003. So that's been my address all my.
And what can you tell me about the property ever being rented to tenants that actually,
Never. I wouldn't know, never. Just me and my parents.
Okay. All right, so do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Is there anything else, sir, that you would like to tell me?
No, this question I recall if anyone did answer the question that I asked. If you did not in my situation, do I need, because I have a house in Port St. Lucie, do I need to get a rental license for the house in West Palm Beach?
I'll let the city answer that, but
At this time, our understanding is only a family member lives there. We have a non-rental affidavit on file, so we haven't required one. But we didn't get that until this year.
okay. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, this is the first time I heard about rental. I sent in the affidavit to him that the property wasn't renting. And he said, well, we talked about 2016.
Okay.
So, that's it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. Here's what I'm going to do in this case. We have a current lien for $164,800, which has accrued over the last 1,648 days. This property had rental license and certificate of use violations in the case, as well as clean and sanitary and paint, which, based on the testimony, were complied right away. The city's recommending no greater reduction than down to $24,720. But under the circumstances with the testimony that I've received today, I'm going to reduce this to $2,000. How long will it take you to pay that, sir?
I'm a little stumped to see why, what have I paid.
Can he come down to the podium?
I
if
can't
he's
hear you
speaking?
from back there.
I don't understand. What am I paying $2,000 for? I mean, if I didn't rent the house and I didn't require a license to rent it, why would you?
Well, I'll tell you why.
Yes, okay.
The city had to bring a code enforcement case, and it also included other violations, okay? When you're notified for a code enforcement case and you don't come to a hearing, and the city has to prosecute the case, it incurs certain costs.
I understand.
As a property owner, you're ultimately responsible for your property. I'm reducing almost $165,000 lien to $2,000, which I know the city is not happy about, but I think that that's the right thing to do, given the circumstances, to try and let the city have some recovery of the administrative effort that it had to take to process not only the code enforcement case 5 years ago, but also the 2 hearings we've had on this request for a reduction. So I think $2,000 is incredibly generous, and I'm willing to give you as much reasonable time as you need to pay that. That's why. And if you want to thumb your nose at what I consider to be a very generous resolution, I'll just say 30 days, and if you don't pay within the 30 days, it'll go back to the full lien amount.
No, you're right. I was just asking for, based on what.
So all I want to know is how long will it take you to reasonably pay that? Can you do that in 60 days?
How much is it?
Can you do it in 60 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, 60 days. Thank you very much.
Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Whatever the instructions are. Here. Number 6, other matters, 823 Avenida Hermosa, CE 191000122.
Good afternoon, whenever you're ready.
Well, first for everybody left, thank you for your patience today. Case ending in 122, 823 Avenida Hermosa. Date ordered 11/20 of 19, fine started 1/20 of 20, ran for 246 days, total $24,600, $100 a day, date of compliance 9/22 of 20. Same owner. Mitigation was they had to evict the tenant and COVID delays, but this was cited in October of 2019. And the ban against evictions didn't even start till March of 2020. So there's already several months in between that they could have attempted compliance. And not that it was part of this case, but they didn't even have a BTR for the rental in the first place. The city's asking for 50%.
How much? 50?
50.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi, Your Honor. This is a really sad case here.
Get your name and address first.
My name is Debbie Swift. I'm here for Kelly Chapman, who has incurred the property at 823 Avena Hermosa. It was originally her grandfather's property that he built from scratch, gave it to his son. In turn, her dad has died and left it to the 22-year-old daughter. She has inherited a nightmare, unfortunately, Your Honor. That's why we're looking, hopefully this lien can be completely released. She got the property after her father died, and she's currently living in Okeechobee. That's why I'm here for her. She is very stressed out about there. There was people, this property's never been rented, nothing ever funny going on, but the problem is there was drug addicts that moved in this property, and there were people living there that weren't supposed to live, and she had no idea because she lives in Okeechobee. As soon as we got notice of everything, we tried, and I'm here too for that today. As a matter of fact, the electric couldn't get turned on. There was no meters. The water's still having an issue, sir. All the pipes are broken under the house. I don't know how these people live like that with no water. So as you can see by the front sign, no trespassing allowed. It took forever to get them out because of COVID. So not only they were using this house as We don't even know who was living there, Your Honor. So I really feel bad for this young daughter. Her father never paid child support. This was what was handed to her and her younger brothers. And I'm here trying to pick up the pieces for her so she can make something out of this to move forward. And this poor girl, just so you know, has been hit with every lien. Like to even turn on the water, that was, Monique has been wonderful. She had to pay an additional $200. Then she got notice that the windows were broken. I called the company. That was another $650. Who knows who broke the windows? Then she was trying to clean out the house because they left it. It is bad. She put stuff on the street, not knowing. They called. I guess I've learned too this. You can only put 3 items per street. They called immediately. She paid the money for that, for the garbage to pick it up. So this has been a really tough learning process along the way where somebody took advantage of this system and just left her a mess. It doesn't even have air conditioning, Your Honor.
So it's still in the condition that there's no electricity or water as we're here today, or
The
that's
water has been turned on now, but if you turn it on from the meter and they have to turn on, the water shoots out underneath the house. All the pipes underneath the house are
still broken
busted.
pipes.
So there's no water in the house at all.
So
And unfortunately, she had to pay $219 just to get the water turned on. Same with the electric. I had to help her fill out the paperwork to have electrical person go out there to check because there was no meters. So I don't know how people were living with no electric, no water. It's really a sad situation.
So you have water, but you can't use the water.
Correct. That's the next thing. I'm trying to meet somebody later. I met 2 plumbers. They said they can't do anything because there's a little crawl space under the house that you have to get to. So we either need to find somebody who knows how to crawl under, and I have pictures showing it's busted, or they got to take up the floor and the master and somehow get under the house to hook up the bathroom and the kitchen.
Okay.
So this is an ongoing problem.
Inherited this?
I'm sorry?
This was an inheritance?
Yes.
Thanks,
Yes.
Grandpa.
I know. And I feel for her, and she's a single mom with a little kid. Can you imagine being handed all this stuff?
Okay. But obviously, in terms of the code violation issues, those have all been complied or you wouldn't be here.
She complied immediately when she knew what was going on and tried to get done. And like I said, they took forever, and I don't understand why. Because I know COVID just takes a while to get rid of somebody, but you can see the eviction papers and everything. The minute somebody needs to do that, and Monique will know that, as soon as you guys need something, we're on it. So it's just sad that somebody can live there. And I appreciate everything you guys do because you're trying to make everything nice. But it is sad with this COVID, somebody can have squatter rights and live there, and it takes forever to get them out.
Yeah. All right, thank you. I appreciate you
Thank you.
telling me what's going on. Anything else from the city on this one?
No, sir, other than, it was cited in October, according to their application. They filed for eviction in March.
Okay. Was there actually an eviction process that you had to do, or?
Yes, for the squatters and
Yeah.
the people living there. And that's why if you notice all around, there's no trespassing, because they were actually doing drugs and everything else in that house, Your Honor, with no power, no electric, no anything. And when I first went there, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared to go in there not knowing what I'm walking into. But since then, she's got the grass cut on a regular basis. She's got a long checklist of things to do. It's gonna take a while. That's why, how do you fix up something that you're given such a nightmare to begin with and you're so young,
Yep. All right, thank you very much. So we have a $24,600 lien, and based on the testimony that I've heard and the circumstances, I'm going to reduce that to $1,500. How long can you get that done, like in 60 days, do you think?
She will need more time, Your Honor. This is a single mom. I'm being honest. You know what I mean?
No, and I
She's
give
been
you-
laying out a lot of stuff just for trying to get this, and it still has no water.
Yeah, and I understand, but I do think that even a small amount, the city should not have to come out of pocket for its administrative
But as
efforts.
soon as the city needed anything, she was right on it
Oh,
when
I
she
appreciate
inherited
it.
This,
That's why
this is
I'm-
stuff from before she owned it, just so you know.
I understand, and that's why the city's asking for what it's asking for, and I'm reducing it far more than the city's.
And I appreciate what you're
recommendation, so.
doing, and I can understand you need to get something too, but I'm just being honest and telling you, this is a weird situation. Somebody's, it'd be like one of your kids getting something and you gave them a nightmare, and they have no money to fix the nightmare, so they're trying, she can't even get a home equity loan on this house. There's nothing, everything, if you walk in there, it is disgusting. The carpet reeks so bad. I don't know how people live like that. Finally, out of the goodness of my heart, that's why I'm here, I I help put stuff to the street. The garbage man actually yesterday picked up stuff and it said, just do it as slow. Tuesday's the bulk pickup. They left everything there. They were actually sleeping in the backyard, sleeping in the detached building, and sleeping in the house.
No, I get it. I've seen.
And with today's world, you're afraid to approach something without the proper legal stuff because you don't know if somebody's not in their right mind, especially a young girl and myself. She has nobody else to stand behind her.
You think 6 months it could get taken care of? It's $1,500 over 6 months.
At least 6, and the most you can reduce it would be greatly appreciated. If you look at this property, all the additional stuff she's
looking at
already
the-
printed out.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
just
been
saying,
looking at
we're pulling money out of somebody that doesn't have it. You know what I mean? If it was a situation, she was a slacker, I agree 100%. 100. She just got handed a bad. And I had an attorney approach me because this is such a nightmare with the whole thing. Because supposedly this gentleman was married that left it, but she's a crack addict, that mother, and 10 years younger. And she didn't want him. So it's like one of those drama lifetimes. I'm not going to lie. So if you were seeing the whole point, you go, oh my God, you know, and thank God there are good people that are trying to. That's why I'm here. Immediately, we requested immediately date. And I'm the one who called follow up. We're constantly following up with you. What do we need? When can we go? So it's not like some of these other people that just close their eyes and, oh, this is going to go away. Because it's not. Like I said, and I think the glass people ripped her off. They charged her $560. And look how old these windows are just to put glass in there. That was 2 months ago. So like I said, I feel for this young person because every time she turns around, she even said to me, my God, I'm being tested. And she's a great spiritual young lady. So it's kind of sad that the dad would even think about leaving somebody a mess. I'm being honest. I have 2 kids, so I get it.
I mean, you know, 1,500 means different things to different people. I've stretched out time frames as far as 9 months. I mean, that would be like less than $200 a month. I can do that, and I'll be happy to do that under these circumstances.
Okay, can you put her on her payment plan or something?
Well, I will not, can't do that, but
Okay.
I mean, it would, she can certainly be a self-imposed and.
It's just there's wood rot, there's roof
I
leaks,
understand.
there's so much going on with the project just to get it to a livable. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Without more stuff happening.
So-
coming here. You know what I mean?
So
But whatever
15
you got to do, Your Honor, I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, I'm just giving you the background so you understand.
I appreciate it. So we'll do 1,500 over 9 months.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And lastly, number 1, 2010 Normandy Circle, CE 19110097.
Who was the other lady you're from? What is she here for?
I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
Good afternoon, whenever you're ready.
Case ending in 097, 2010 Normandy Circle, ran for, date order 3/4 of 20, fine started 7/4 of 20, ran for 58 days, total $2,900, $50 a day, date of compliance 8/31 of 20, same owner, blames COVID for the fines. Let's see. Oh, it was cited for roof and screen repair, but no permit was put in for the roof until July, but it was cited in November of 2019. As previously stated, the state of emergency didn't exist till March 7th of this year, I believe. Same owner, city's asking for 30%.
30?
30.
Thank you. Thanks. Yes, sir.
My name is T.L. Wingate. I'm a general contractor, and my ex-wife, Miriam Wingate. We're here on behalf of her mother, who wasn't aware of all what was going on. Our son was kind of in charge of this project that he just neglected. So I came in to come out and try to help out to pull her through. When we found out what was going on, my oldest son immediately gave the money to the roofer to go ahead and get it done, because I know this is serious. So she's 87 years old. She's been in the rehab for about how long now?
She was in rehab for a month.
A month. And my ex-wife here now has the power of attorney to make decisions for her. So we asking for lenience as much as possible.
Okay.
The roof is done now.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't be here if the work hadn't been complied, so I understand that. Thank you, I appreciate it. Anything else from the city?
No, sir, no.
Okay. All right. I'm just looking at the picture. Yeah, property looks good. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell me? I think
No,
I understand the
other than that,
situation.
we understand the you know, the severity of the.
I do.
Property, but we just here for someone that we have a heart for. And that's the.
All right. So we have a lien of $2,900. Given the testimony and the circumstances for this case, I'll agree to reduce that to $500. Can you pay that within 60 days?
Yes.
Within 60 days. Okay.
And where do you go to pay the $500 at?
Beg your pardon?
Where do you go to pay the $500 at?
Instructions are on the bottom of the order.
Okay, great. 6 days, thank you.
I think that's it.
That's it.
Okay, it's 1:15 and we stand adjourned.